Hey, I was told to report here, sister.
I'll be with you in a moment.
Hi.
4'10" and fearless, Dame Barbara Windsor, in her many incarnations, a Blitz baby.
All that remains for me is to present the prizes.
Landlady.
Hope you all enjoyed the fireworks.
Matriarch.
Good night.
But it was the naughtiness and camp comic timing in the Carry On films which catapulted Dame Barbara, or Babs as she was known, to icon status.
Oh, what a lovely looking pair.
You took the words right out of my mouth.
And her collision with Kenneth Williams was not subtle.
Number?
38, 22, 35.
No, your number, not your vital thingamajigs.
So close were they that Dame Barbara even brought him along to one of her honeymoons. This Windsor was the queen of Albert Square,
Phil.
arriving in EastEnders as Peggy Mitchell.
Hi, Mum. What are you doing here?
What do you think I'm doing? Right for a number 13 bus.
If Wolford felt like home, that's because it was. Dame Barbara was an Eastender, born in Shoreditch in East London in 1937, the daughter of a dressmaker and fruit and veg seller, making her stage debut at 13. The critics would later try and typecast Windsor as slapstick with sexy innuendo, but she was a serious actor, nominated for a BAFTA for her role in the 1963 film Sparrows Can't Sing. She married into the mob. Her first husband was criminal Ronnie Knight, also dating gangster Charlie Cray and his brother Reggie. In fact, Dame Barbara even based Peggy Mitchell on their matriarch mother, Violet Cray. And in one notable appearance into the Queen Vic came another blonde.
You know, I do so admire a man who devotes his entire life to serving society. I nearly went into politics myself, you know.
Really? Well, if you have any ideas for how I could help Walford, here's my card.
Oh, I wouldn't dream of telling the Mayor of London what to do. Thank you so much.
Good.
I think she's one of those people who just cheered you up and cheered everybody up because she had a kind of irrepressible naughtiness that was totally innocent. And whenever she went into a room, and she did a lot of good work for charity and looking after the lonely and vulnerable people, she lit up people's faces.
All together now. Maybe it's because I'm a Londoner.
And even if you'd never met her, many felt like they knew her. Just ask real EastEnders.
Well, she grew up in Oxton, and I'm an Oxton girl.
She was the heart and soul of Shoreditch.
We're going to miss her greatly. Yeah, so sad. Her laugh.
Her laugh?
That kind of sound. You sound like her.
Do I sound like it? What a compliment. So your memories are of her...
Slapping two people at once.
That is quite a skill, isn't it?
Yeah.
Not many people can...
I want to do that.
Thank you for demonstrating. Get out of my pub.
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 When she wasn't serving the regulars, she was serving others. In 2016, she was made a dame for her services to charity and entertainment.
I am so over the moon. I am so proud. I cannot tell you. But, you know, when people say, oh, no, this is great. It's out of the blue. All right, I got my little MBE, which I was so proud to get that a few years ago. And I thought, why? You do think, why you know?
Marrying her soulmate, Scot Mitchell, in the year 2000. The couple went public with her diagnosis of Alzheimer's in 2018.
For such a little lady, she was such a fighter. You know, I think right up until the very end.
With Scot by her side, Dame Barbara died in a care home. In her husband's words, Barbara's final weeks were typical of how she lived her life, full of humour, drama and a fighting spirit until the end.
Well, earlier I spoke to Larry Lamb, who played her on-screen husband Archie Mitchell in EastEnders. I began by asking him about the first time he met her.
When I first met her, which was when I was ushered into the presence, as it were, as the new consort, she just looked at me and said, oh, blimey, you're a lot taller than I thought you were. She said, well, never mind, no, we're all the same size lying down, aren't we? And she was like straight away, you just got taken in by her charm. There was no side with her, nothing forced. You took her as she was. And then I think that's why everybody instinctively just loves her. That's it. She's for real, 100%.
And it's what everyone has been saying about her today. Although she was a huge star, she was incredibly warm and generous to everybody, not just the big actors she was acting alongside.
You see, that's the important thing. You know, real stars they've got to come through the business in the company of stars. You don't just achieve stardom, you learn about it, and you hopefully arrive at the point where you know how to deal with it. And it's all about making sure everybody that's working with you and around you, or whatever they're doing, doesn't matter what they're doing, feels a part of it. Any show that you do is teamwork. That's it. So you're only kidding yourself if you figure I'm the big shot. And she never did. She'd come up, you know, she was basically from the age of variety. So she'd come through everything. She'd done the lot. And in the end, she knew how to handle it.
And she had a good right hook, didn't she?
She did. She certainly did, I tell you. You didn't want to get on the wrong side of her. She was, like, you know, she was an interesting woman, that one. Plenty of character, plenty of fire. And
she never forget where she came from, did she? She grew up in the East End, knew the craze, obviously.
That's one of the things we had in common. You know, but people think of us, you know, because we're working class Londoners, Eastenders, automatically. Well, she's more East than me, but we were both from the North side, and not far apart in North London. You know, she was from Stamford Hill and I was from Edmonton. So there was a thing there, you know, geographically. We kind of knew each other.
I mean, she first made her name, of course, in the Carry On films, but started life in the theatre with Joan Littlewood's theatre workshop. She could have gone in a very different direction, couldn't she?
You see, the thing is, if you are blessed with a lot of different talents, it's not always the best way for yourself to try and figure out what way you're going. And you get drawn in certain ways according to what's needed at the time. And when she was working with Joan Littlewood, that, you know, they were doing everything there. They were real groundbreakers. And so she got a lot of serious stuff, but she was also able to sort of do the sort of things that she really loved, which was, you know, song and dance and comedy. I mean, she's a great comedian. She was a great singer. We spent so much time sitting around on set singing old songs. She'd start one, I'd start one. Oh, I never knew that one. And yeah, so yeah, we had a lot in common.
And people can sometimes be a little bit snobby about the soaps, but EastEnders showed the world what she was capable of. You had high drama and, as you say, brilliant humour.
Yeah, well, I'm afraid a lot of people underrate what you need to carry it off when you're doing a soap opera. Some people buckle under the strain. They do not, you know, they can't do it because the pressure's really on you. You figure back in those days, particularly when you have millions of people are watching, it's too easy to lose sight of the fact that there is a big audience out there for everything you do, every move you make.
I mean, after she was diagnosed with Alzheimer, she and her husband, Scot, campaigned tirelessly to improve research, to improve the care for people with what is a really cruel disease.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm sure Scot will be out there, you know, forging on with that, you know, with that program, with support for Alzheimer's. You know, it's taken her away from us all. And, you know, Scot, you know, is a very, very strong man, you know, a huge strength in her life. And I'm sure that will be what he'll focus on now, is carrying on with the struggle.
Did she ever tell you to get out of my pub?
I was thinking about that today. I think she did. You need a specialist to say that. So that's a good question for a quiz.
Larry Lamb,
and I'm not the one to ask.
Thank you very much for talking to us about her today, though. Thank you so much.